Alrighty. Okay, I think we are live now. Let me get this all shared. ah, center. Cool. Wait for everyone to get in. Great. Okay. Awesome. All right, I believe I am live. I'm Andrew Kim. I play with the band In Fury. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm going to be playing a selection of songs, probably around 3, and answering some questions. So feel free by all means to interact in chat. I'll be reading, and I'll try and answer as many as I can. And yeah, hope you guys are having a fantastic Friday. Before I get into some songs, I'll go ahead and talk a bit. Wait for some people to get here. I'll talk a little bit about my history with Dingwall and how I learned about Dingwall and all that. I've been playing bass since I was like 14, roughly, and now I'm 30, and I started with a Ibanez 5-string. That was my first 5-string. And around 2016, I was looking for a new bass, and I was kind of looking around, seeing what is all out there, and I found a Yumu's YouTube channel. He did a really cool Pliny cover where he was playing his NG2 at the time, and I had never seen any bass like that before. It was his green NG2. And as soon as I heard how it sounded, I was basically sold. I decided I needed one of those in my life, and I made the decision to buy one without even trying one. Didn't know how it felt, didn't know if I would like it. And I proceeded to wait, I think around 8 or 9 months before I got it, and I didn't know what to expect, but I basically immediately fell in love with it, and it was kind of my main driver from there on. I got a green NG2, which is not currently what I'm using, but yeah, that bass was my main driver. So yeah, it was a fantastic decision, and ever since I've not regretted it. I've done a ton of tours all around North America, Europe, Canada, all over the place with it, and they've had 0 issues. So they've held up on the road very nicely, and it's been fantastic. Let me go ahead and get this shared so I can tell everyone I'm live real quick. Bear with me one moment. Oh yeah, we are live. Just getting this all shared. Yeah, awesome. Can you close the door too? Oh, okay, that's fine. All right. Hey, Keith. Thanks for tuning in. Miss you, bud. Been far too long since I've seen you. Alrighty, I think we'll go ahead and crack into a song now. Let's go ahead and start it off. Thanks for tuning in. This song is called The Promethean Kings off of our album The Path of Apotheosis. Thank you, Dingwall, for having me, and thank you everyone for watching. right, that was Promethean Kings off of our album The Path of Apotheosis. I particularly that's like one of my favorite songs to play live because it's a little slower and it has a lot of chunky parts. And the reason it sounds so sick on this dingwall is because a lot of that stuff, a lot of the popping just sounds super sick. The mid range is just like perfect for that type of playing, and it really accentuates the heaviness of this song. So yeah, it's super fun to play live. Let me see if there's any questions to answer here. Let's see. Hello, Ryan. Thank you for joining us. Hello, Mandolin. Hello, Steven. Thank you guys for watching. Yeah, the Darklast 900 Alpha Omega is a great head. That's a fantastic head. By the way, huge shout out to Darklast Electronics. They sent me a nice compressor pedal, which I'll show at the end. I was using the Super Symmetry for a long while. That's been my main compressor that I used. But for this stream, they decided to send me a Hyperluminal, which has been a fantastic addition to my pedal board. So thank you guys so much for that. Yeah, go ahead and feel free to ask any questions. Just gonna see if there are any. So, okay, Sebastian Blade from Instagram asks, what do you think are the pros/cons of fretted/fretless bass in death metal? Okay, so that's kind of a very opinion-based answer I'm going to give here, but I think fretless bass certainly has a time and place in any style of music. And in death metal, a lot of dudes do it really, really well. There's Linus from Obscura, there's Hugo from Beyond Creation, Steve DiGiorgio, all sorts of dudes playing sick fretless. My only opinion about that is that with fretless, a lot of times you're going to be using flat wound strings. And I think for metal, especially, I think round wound is the way to go. There's probably some fretless models you can get that will enable you to use round wound strings, and that's super sick. But more than what instrument you're using, what type of instrument, I think as a musician, you should aim to serve the song above trying to highlight the use of any specific instrument. But if there's an opportunity to make fretless have the song sound better, then by all means go for it. But above all, I think the focus should be, hey, does the fretless sound right for this section of this song, or does the fretless sound good for this particular song? I think that should be the main priority over trying to force it per se. Not that I think anyone does that, but I think the main objective should be to, serve the song above all else. But yeah, fretless is super sick. There's a lot of cool applications to that. So yeah, thank you for the question, Sebastian. I'll go ahead and let's crack into another song maybe. Yeah. Yeah, Dingwall makes some fantastic fretlesses. I've played, I think, one fretless Dingwall in my life. It was up in Portland, I believe. I can't remember the gentleman's name, but he was very nice and allowed me to play his fretless Dingwall. Oh yeah, up in Canada as well. Steve, I played Steve's Dingwall. There were two fretless Dingwalls I've played. But yeah, they're both sick. Fretless is difficult because your intonation has to be perfect. Your playing technique has to be like on point, because where the note is like right where the fret is. Like if I'm fretting in the middle of the fret on fretless, that's going to be out of tune. So you got to fret like right where the dot is. So your technique has to be like pretty impeccable to play fretless proficiently. And playing chords are like a whole another ballpark. It's very, very difficult. So my hat's off to people who can play fretless very well. Yeah, it's not an easy thing to do. Turns out, requires a lot of practice. Like anything in life, I suppose, though. But yeah, let's go ahead and crack into another song here. This one is called Eldritch Evolution. Just did a playthrough for this, and yeah. That's a doozy. Whew, that song has a lot of notes. That song is off our latest EP called Of Sunless Realms. Behind me, you can see me flying through space with Cthulhu, which is the overarching theme of that EP. Uh, yeah, just put out a playthrough video for that one. So, yeah, that song is probably my favorite off that EP because there's just a lot going on, but there's also space for groove and all that fun stuff. Because, shredding is fun and great, but sometimes you gotta have a little bit of, space to breathe and chill and enjoy the heaviness of a song. And I feel like that song really allows space and time for that to develop. So, yeah, it's great. Yeah, let me check chat real quick. All right. Yep. Accuracy is important, Steve. Very true. Multiply your practice routine by 10. That's extensive, but hey, more power to you if you can do that. That's a lot of practicing. Opinion on Dark Glass Atom versus Helix. You know, I've never used the Helix, or I haven't used the Atom either. That's a pretty new pedal. They look very, very well equipped for what they do, so I have no doubts that they can get you the tone you're searching for. And the Helix is like a very extensive unit, so I feel like whatever you're looking for, that unit can definitely get you there. As far as the Atom, definitely interested. Currently, I'm like pretty set on the pedals I need for my tone. I don't really like to. Me personally, the kind of pedal board I like is the one where I just keep it on all the time, and I don't have to go back to my pedal board and play DDR in the middle of my set. So I like to just have everything like dialed in, and then just let it sit there and do its thing while I can focus on playing. Eventually, it would be cool to incorporate more like actual effects, like automated effects. That would be cool. But as of now, I just kind of have all my pedals dialed into the exact tone I want, and then just rip it, bud. But yeah, I'm sure the Dark Glass Atom is sick. I have no doubts. I would love to try one. It's a very, very new pedal. It came out just a few weeks ago, I believe. And yeah, I haven't really used a Helix, so I couldn't really tell you there, bud. Sorry, Travis. Yeah, what's up, Dane? Thanks for joining. Hey, Ryan. Yeah, these tunes do bring me great pleasure. So yeah, you are correct about that. Yeah, currently with my setup, I'm using a Microtubes X7. I had to look at it because I had a bunch of different distortions and I couldn't remember which one. I was using the B7K V2 for like the longest time. Super solid pedal, awesome pedal, gives you great tones. But once the X7 came out, I got the X7 and I've been super happy with that. I was using the Alpha Omega Ultra for a while as well, and that's a great pedal too. It's very, very crunchy, very good sounding. But ultimately, I think the X7 gave me everything I needed with my distortion, especially live. And yeah, it's just a super solid pedal, and they have really awesome DIs out the side of it, so I can send it to front house. And yeah, it's a fantastic unit. So yeah, let me grab a drink, and I will crack into the next song here. I have a relaxing voice. Thank you. Why not just use an amp sim and make it its own tone changes with your music? Takes the pedal board concept and all hands free. Yeah, I guess we could do that. For live, I haven't really messed with trying to use like a computer. Just, I think that's what you're referring to, right? This is like strictly using plugins. I haven't really messed with that live, but I mean, it's certainly a possibility. It's we're in the future now, right? So you can do anything you want, really. So yeah, it'd be super cool to do that. Uh, I haven't really tried that though. But I mean, like if I think about it, the majority of the time I'm practicing bass, I'm using an interface in my computer anyway. Yeah, I'm using Neural DSP's Parallax, super awesome plugin. That's what I use like the majority of the time when I practice. And then my pedal board is mainly for live. So I guess when I'm practicing, that's what I'm mainly using anyway. So yeah. Uh, hey Joseph, nice to see you. Thanks for watching. Pedro, thanks for tuning in, bud. Good to see you here. Andrew, when did you realize that you were a badass? You know, I still have yet to come to that realization because we're all a work in progress, right? We all have things we could get better at. So I have yet to make that realization, Brandon. But thank you for being here. Hope you're doing well, bud. Yeah. Digital DSP parallax. Again, that's what I use at home when I practice primarily. Let me crack into the next song, and then yeah, I'll answer some more questions, and then we'll call it a night. It's gonna be a nice 45-minute stream. Thank you guys again so much for tuning in and watching me play these songs. But yeah, this next song is going to be Aeons Torn from our latest EP of Sunless Realms, which, by the way, our drummer Spencer just put out a sick playthrough video today. Did a fantastic job. So go check that out on our YouTube channel, Inferi Official. That's our over there is our Instagram. That's mine, and then that's the band. So yeah, go check it out on YouTube. Aeons Torn. All right, here we go, bud. Thank you everyone for watching. This song is called Aeons Torn, off our last EP of Sunless Realms. Thank you Dingwall for having me. Thank you guys for watching. I play bass in a band called Imperial. Yeah. I'm supposed to come back like right. Sweet. Yeah, that song's real fun. That song is real fun. There's a lot of cool stuff going on in that song, so I think it hits a good variety of different techniques. So yeah. Oh, that was a doozy, huh? A lot of notes in 45 minutes. Let me go ahead and see if there are any questions from you wonderful people. All right. Ben Towel. Andrew, when did you? I don't know when I did. Benjamin Woodward, thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoy the bass on the record. EP. Yeah, worked really hard on it, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. So I'm glad you enjoy it. Pedro, glad you enjoy the tone. Thank you. What speaker cabs do you use? Do you have a favorite configuration, and can you elaborate what makes that configuration work well for you? So currently, I believe I have a 4x10 that I use on tour mostly. Before that, I've experimented with a lot of different things. My setup before that was a 2x10. I had the dark glass 2x10 cab, and then a 115 with that. And the reason everyone's kind of switching to just going DI, and it makes a lot of sense because you don't have to load a cab, and since you're in in-ears, you don't need to hear the cab behind you. So that's kind of where I'm shifting. The last tour we did before COVID with Shadow of Intent, that's what I ended up doing. Since we were all in in-ears, I didn't need a cab on stage anyway, so that's what I opted for. And it worked perfectly fine. It worked great. All the venues' sound systems were capable of using the DI signal. And yeah, it worked perfectly well. So yeah, nowadays I don't really use a cab a whole lot. I still have a 115 laying around, but I don't really, aside from the 410 that I have out in Nashville. Yeah, that's all I really use. But yeah, the 410 is nice because I remember reading, I was doing a lot of research on what cabs and speakers I should get, and I remember reading a lot that 10-inch speakers are like somehow scientifically like more efficient at pushing air, which is really good if you're playing bass because you feel the bass a lot of the times, and that's kind of the space you want to fill as your instrument. So yeah, 8x10s would be super sick to use all the time, but yeah, my back would hate me. It's almost a meme when you see like a bass player loading in an 8x10 and the stage is like tiny. It's like, man, what's going on? But yeah, 8x10s are really fun, but not super practical. It'd be great to, if it's like in a jam spot where it just doesn't really move a lot, then that's like ideal. Or like there's been some situations I've been in where like the venue will have an 8x10 just ready to go. And that's always super fun because then I can, just be super loud and upset everyone else. But yeah, 10-inch speakers, from what I understand, are like the way to go for bass. Yeah, apparently that's just the way to do it. 115s used to, I think my first amp ever was a 115, and 115s are sick. But from what I understand from people who were much smarter than me, maybe not, who knows, it could just be random stuff I read on the internet. 10-inch speakers are what you want to be using. So yeah, but honestly, whatever you like is what you should use. Because if you're comfortable with what you're using, then you're going to play great, That's the whole idea, I suppose. Yeah. What's my favorite method for writing bass parts? That's a very good question. So when it comes to, like what I was saying earlier, as a musician, you kind of want to serve the song more than anything. There might be a lot of opportunities for you to do whatever you want, but ultimately the deciding factor of what you're going to play, like the check mark in your head should be, is this bass part going to serve the song? because that's the ultimate goal. Is you want to make everything sound better with what you're playing. And if it doesn't do that for the song, then I think you should reevaluate it. But again, that's a completely subjective thing, so it's kind of an open-ended answer. But for me personally, the way I approach writing bass for extreme music or technical death metal, as a lot of people call it, is it's just like my objective is to kind of outline the chords of what's going on between the guitars, so that there's a lot of harmonic consonants that I'm setting up for the guitars. Because with our music, there's a lot of back and forth between our two guitarists, Mike and Malcolm. They're both fantastic and amazingly talented, and there's a lot of harmonies going on. So the way I think of it is I want to establish as much consonants for people to hold on to support what they're doing. And sometimes, that means sometimes, I like to go out on a limb and play some frilly stuff, and it works out. And sometimes it means just holding the backbeat while someone solos, and sometimes it means playing sweeps while someone solos. Like in the last song, Aeon's Torn, there's a guitar solo going on, and when I was writing bass, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna play some bass sweeps, because why not, and it worked out. So yeah, everyone enjoyed it. So yeah, I like to be collaborative. It makes things more fun when I write bass. Getting extra ears on the product is never going to hurt you. So yeah, I hope that answered your question. I know it was kind of open-ended of an answer, but it's a little bit of an open-ended question as well. It's very subjective, and it totally depends on the style as well, because you wouldn't approach writing bass for Inferi like you would for, a modern rock band or a funk band. It'd be a very, very different approach between the two. But as far as Inferi goes, I like to, there's also, you also have to understand when to do unisons, because especially with metal, things will just sound tighter when you're just doing a unison with the guitars. So understanding and identifying which sections you should just follow the guitars for a little bit. I know that might be taboo to some people, but like at the end of the day, like if it makes the song sound better, that's what you want to do. So just having a keen ear for style in general, and yeah, also pulling influence from a lot of different styles is very helpful. I used to struggle with a lot of melody writing, but what helped me out a lot with that is listening to more vocal music. Because the human voice is like the most relatable thing, and if you can sing a melody, then that means people will probably like it. I don't know. That's just kind of a presumption, I suppose. But incorporating, more vocal melodies into your playing is not exactly a bad thing. It'll certainly help you write cool stuff. And yeah, just pulling in influence from as many different things as possible. Don't shoehorn yourself into a specific genre, because yeah, music is cool, and you should listen to a lot of different types of it. So yeah, in short, that's the long answer. Yeah. Anyways, let's see. Great work and pretty cool bass. Thank you very much, Hayut Ramirez. Yeah, metal's cool. I like metal too. Yeah, gotta come down to New Mexico once concerts are a go. Man, I would love nothing more than for concerts to be a thing again, honestly. Yeah, it's great to be able to do this. This is the closest thing I've had to playing a show in over a year, which is crazy. But hopefully things will, get back to some form of normalcy soon, and we'll be able to tour and play shows and all that great stuff. But yeah, it's been nice. I realized I hadn't really used this pedal board since I last played live, because I just practiced with my interface. So it's nice. Had a sound check for this, and that was like the first sound check I'd done in like a year. It was good. Brought back a lot of good feels. Good feels. Yeah. Brad Biersing. Yeah, thank you. Let's see if there's any more questions here. Okay, what is your warm-up routine before performance? Licks, riffs, etc. from Maro Martinez. Hey Maro, hope you're watching. As far as practice and warm-up, stretching I find is very important. Make sure you're all limber, especially for big riffy songs like we have. Making sure your wrists aren't overworked when they're unprepared. Staying hydrated, that's very important. As far as licks and riffs, I like to sequence thirds, something like that. Just kind of get the fingers going, It's especially difficult if it's like a particularly cold city or something, and my hands are physically cold, and I have to play the set of a million notes, and I'm trying to warm up. Sequencing thirds and stuff like that is very helpful. But yeah, that's basically it. Or I'll just play riffs from the set that I'm about to play, just play them slowly and just kind of warm myself up, kind of acclimate myself up to getting up to speed and all that. So yeah, that's basically what I do to warm up. A lot of stretching, and it's a lot of mental game I find, because yeah, just being mentally ready to play music is important for me at least. So yeah, just being in the right headspace, and yeah, and then the body will do the muscle memory thing. So yeah, just just getting all the pieces in place for that to happen. But yeah, we're coming up on the end of the stream here. We're at 7:45. So again, I'm Andrew Kim with the band Inferi. Thank you, Dingwall Guitars, for having me. Thank you guys so much for watching. You can check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff. Inferi underscore official is our Instagram. But yeah, we just put out an EP called Of Sunless Realms. Our drummer put out a drum playthrough, so go check that out. And yeah, we'll have a lot more content in the pipeline coming out soon. So yeah, we also have a tab book coming out for two of the songs I played, Eldritch Evolution and Aeons Torn. It will be for our EP. So that will be coming out real soon. Keep your eyes out for that. If you want to learn any of these songs on guitar or bass, we will have transcriptions of all that available through Sheet Happens. So yeah, anyways, I'm going to check for any last questions and call it a night. Yeah. Favorite bass finish / color. Ooh, I really like transparent tops of burl. My favorite color is teal, so like a teal burl top would be insane. My favorite bass would be like a Z3, the Canadian Z3. Those are like insane to me. One day I'll get one. My NG3 is amazing. I love it. The NG2 is what I started. That was my first Dingwall. The NG2 is an amazing bass, but a Z3 is like that's the goal right there. But yeah, favorite color would be teal, and finish would be like a burl, because burl looks super sick. And burl's like, burl tops can look different, widely different from each other, so it kind of depends on what you end up with. But all the burl tops I've seen from Dingwall are spot on. So yeah, hello from Brazil, and Fury is brutal, and you are a great bass player. I like your work. Thank you so much, Evandro. Thank you. Yeah, thank you all for tuning in. We're at the end of the stream here, so you guys do me a favor and have an excellent evening. Okay, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll see you. Thank you to Dingwall. Thank you to Darkless. Yeah, you guys all have an excellent evening. Thank you guys so much.